What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Shiranui Flame, and I'm going to be showing you something really cool from our team member who goes by the name of Jalen. And this is probably something that you might be privy to. It is a Dark Synchro deck, and just like any other Synchro deck ever since Omega came out, the whole point of this deck, just like Synchro Fusionist and other Synchro decks, besides the ones that just focus on bringing out Quasar, is just to loop your opponent's hand. So when they start, they just have no cards in hand except for the one card that they drew. And damn man, I gotta say, out of all the hand loop decks, like even out of Synchro Fusionist, I feel like this one's a little bit more consistent, and it's also a little bit easier to pull off. You know what I'm saying? It's not as difficult to pull off as a Synchro Fusionist deck. There is some room for misplay and some room for errors, and this deck is actually probably the best rogue deck in the OCG right now. But they do have stuff like Monster Reborn there, and Card Destruction, and other cards like that. And actually, this replay right here was made before Allure of Darkness was at 3. He's only running Allure of Darkness and 2 Allure of Darkness in his build. So what you're gonna see is basically also like Gofu makes this so much better, you know what I'm saying? Because Level Eater and Gofu, just instant TG Hyper Librarian, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to like scrounge around for resources to make Hyper Librarian. If you open up Gofu and you can get a Level Eater into your graveyard, it is instant. So really there's nothing to say. I guess I could just sit back and let you watch the magic until the deck profile comes up. Oh, but one thing I do personally in my Dark Synchro deck that you see right now is you could Level Eater your Coral Dragon to make another Coral Dragon, and you get a draw off of TG Hyper Librarian and a Coral Dragon that you send to the graveyard to make the new Coral Dragon, which I think is absolutely bananas, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, first Trish, okay. This is why Trish isn't at 3, ladies and gentlemen. And this is why Omega also should not be at 3. You are about to see. Ooh, another Omega. Ooh, he brought back the save. Hold on. Let's take that in for a second. Let's take that in. He brought back an Omega that he already activated to rip a card with DDR to use that same Omega to rip another card. This motherfucker's sick, man. Like, I play this deck, but I don't play it nearly this well. And that's it, man. That's all she wrote. That's all that's all that could happen for this Kaiju Grado player. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the deck, get it. And since I do play this deck, I can explain things quite well. First and foremost, you run the Synchron engine. Not Synchron. You run the Resonator engine because it's really easy to get Synchron Resonator out. All you need is to have a Synchro monster on the field to special summon this card from your hand. So when you draw into this guy from TG Hyper Librarian or Formula Synchron or Coral Dragon or any of the other billion ways to get draws in this deck, it's extremely good because just this one card can extend your plays so far, you know what I'm saying? Because every Synchro that you make, obviously with TG Hyper Librarian, is going to fuck around and it's going to get you more draws. And typically when you do get this out, you will have a Level Eater in the graveyard because there's a ton of ways to dump Level Eater into the grave with this deck. You could dump it with Twin Twister if you draw it. You can send it with Armageddon Knight. You can send it with Dark Grepher. Yeah, there's a ton of ways to do it. You can send it with Foolish Burial. You can get it out with 1-for-1. You can send it with 1-for-1. There's a lot of different ways that you can handle this, man. And Malicious, pretty obvious. This is kind of reminiscent of the old like Dad deck or like the old Tamaya. I mean like the Beal's Diabolic Dragon decks that started popping up when Beal started coming out, and people were just like running 3 Malicious, Dark Grepher, and Armageddon. Like these right here, this is your dark core. You know what I'm saying? When people say stuff like Dark Performer Pal or Dark Synchro, it's typically involving these cards, and it's always going to be Armageddon Knight and Dark Grepher. It's not always Destiny Hero Malicious, but yeah, like this is your dark quote-unquote core, even though there's other dark targets. Oh, and Plague Spreader as well is also part of the dark archetype. which not really an archetype, but it's like a core set of cards that you can splash into a lot of different things to do some nasty stuff. Resonator Call is going to search your resonators, like I said. Jet Synchron, you're going to send it to the grave with Excel Synchron, or really through, like I said, there's a million ways to get targets into the grave with this deck. It's just a shame that he's a fire type and he's not a dark type. And you know, you got your double Coral Dragon, so you could Coral Dragon, level E to the Coral Dragon, get a draw off the Coral Dragon. You got Stardust Charge, 4 more draw power, 4 more Synchron, and TG Hyper Librarian. That is standard stuff. And of course, you got your Trishula and your 3 psy-frame Lord Omega to loop your opponent's hand, right? So yeah, one change I would make is I would take a Twin Twister out, and I would definitely put in the 3rd Allure of Darkness, which is legal now. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna steal this dark Synchron deck. It's definitely better than mine. So yeah, with that said, that is the video. Let me know what you guys think about Dark Synchro. Are you playing this deck? You know what I'm saying? Because I do feel like this is one of the best and strongest rogue decks in the format, especially since Maxi is at 2 now and not at 3. So Maxi is definitely a nightmare for these kinds of special summon spam decks. But since there's 2 Maxi and not 3, it's gonna be, you're gonna see the card a lot less than you were before. So yeah, you have quite a good chance to go off on people. So rate, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to my boy Jalen, who sent this over, and we're gonna have some more content from him on the channel shortly. So yeah, type in the comments, man. Let him know what you want to see. Let him know what kind of decks that you want to see, and maybe I can get him to build a deck and do some replays and send them over for me to break down for you. So thanks for watching, guys. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Sharing the We Flame out.